Let's get into this stuff right away. First, I have to address the stock market because a lot of people have been asking me about that. The S&P 500 dropped last week up until, I think, Christmas Eve. Down. It was down, I think, 20% on the year, which means a 20% correction from the highs. Now, for those of you that don't know what the S&P 500, it's an average of 500 of the biggest stocks, the highest market capitalization stocks, and it stands for Standard & Poor 500. It's a good metric of where the stock market is in general. There's also, there used to be the New York Stock Exchange as an index, and the NASDAQ, which is more of a technology index, but the S&P 500 is a better idea of where the global economy is. And Dan Pena right now is having his hardcore seminar at the Castle, and if you want a little entertainment, I highly recommend you going to his YouTube channel because he publishes everything that he's doing. And he teaches former Castle graduates, and I'm one of them as well, to go deeper in on how to evaluate and buy businesses. And Dan said something really interesting a couple days ago. He said, do you all realize that everything in the world is worth less now? That means your car is worth less, your house is worth less, your cup of coffee is worth less, your iPad is worth less. When the whole market corrects and is now 20% lower, everything in the world is lower. Because when everything is valued lower, there's less money in this world. And means that there's less people that want to buy things, there's less people that want to invest in things, and less people that want to employ you. So you might say, I don't have any money in the stock market and I don't care, that's for Wall Street people and stuff like that. But the truth is, it really does affect you. And if the stock market comes off by 50% or 80%, we'll all be out of work, there'll be food shortages, there'll be real problems in the world. So we all are affected by the economy, and it's really important to think of it that way. So you have to be abreast of what's going on, and it's really important. And this is a massive correction. The definition of a bear market is a 20% drop from the highs into where markets are now, and we're right around that. And so for a lot of people, they've been living in this honeymoon period for the last 11 years where they've never heard of something called a bear market, which means the stock market goes lower, the economy contracts, and things basically suck. Now, I've lived through a few of these. I lived through it when I was on Wall Street here in the city of London in 2008. I saw the whole financial crisis. Then I was also involved in the city of London here in '98 when there was the Russian crisis and the Asian crisis. I remember that very well. And I also remember when I first joined Wall Street in '93 and '94 when the Fed first started increasing interest rates and everything also went down the toilet. And it's amazing to see how it affects everything. Businesses, people's portfolios, how to see people panic, and how people live through these markets. And the truth is that a lot of young kids, and I'm starting to sound like Dan Pena, have never lived through a bear market and don't understand what it's like to run a business when things aren't a big party, when there's not just tons of people spending money like there's no tomorrow. And it definitely separates the real, true players from just the wannabes. And I always remember there's a great analogy that it's like people out in the ocean, at the beach, like waiting out in the beach. Well, when a bear market happens, it's like the water goes out and you get to see who's wearing swim trunks and who isn't, It exposes everyone for who's real and who is just kind of riding the wave of a bull market, There's a line from Wall Street where the guy says, quick buck artists come and go with every bull market. It's the real players that make it through the bear market. So you really have to be aware of what's going on. Keep watching these indices. Don't let it panic you. Some people are like, Brian, what do I do with my money? I'm going to be talking more in the next year about where you should put your money and where I think you should put your money. We'll probably have a financial accelerator coming soon. In the meantime, a lot of you know I've been working on a project with Robert Kiyosaki, and I've emailed you a lot about that anyway. So if you want to know more about that, get on my email list, or there is a link in the comment. And this is a way of just being immune to major stock market moves, and even a way to make money from it. Because on Wall Street, they taught us how to make money when markets were going down. And so I think you should be able to do that as well as a consumer. And the stuff I'm talking about with Robert, it's really never been shared with consumers before. Also, 2008 was one of my best years in the city because we made a lot of money when the market was going down. So again, you don't have to be like the old school investors of the past. You can actually make money when the markets are going down, but you just need to know how to do it. So that's that. The big thing to look out for is whether we're in a recession. And the definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth, where the GDP goes by, say, a -1% or -0.5%. That means we've got a real problem and the economy is really going sluggish. Right now, this could just be a correction in stock markets from some big highs. So stay tuned. Keep doing what you're doing, but just try to bulletproof your business, try to bulletproof your life, try to make sure that your CV is amazing and just try to just do the best you can every day anyways, and you're going to be always okay to make it through these bear markets.
London Real doesn't stop when the conversation ends. You see, that's when we get started. Because everything begins with a thought, and then comes the action. The London Real Academy is our global transformation platform. Here we bring together thousands of students from over 75 countries. Whether you want to build a profitable business from your passion, or learn to speak to inspire, or broadcast yourself with your very own podcast, or accelerate your life to become a high-performance person, we have the online accountability course and personal mentoring program that will make your dream a reality. Join us, and we'll take your life to the next level, together. Our next accelerator course is starting soon.